BoJack Horseman is a 5-season show that has become known all around the world for its humour, art style, instantly recognisable voice, and the way in which it touches on real-life topics that translate across the screen and allow you to feel all kind of emotions. With the show in its 5th season, people love it and always cry out for more once it finishes. Audience members have grown an attachment to the character, despite all of his antics and everything that he has got up to. Whether we like it or not, there is something that allows us to form a connection with the character and go on a journey with him, not just around Hollywood, but through his life way before the show was even released. But let's take a look behind the character that everybody laughs at and find out why he is the way he is. Before I go ahead, make sure you go over to my Twitter at BrainPilot_ and drop me a follow to vote on what the next video I do is. You pick this one. So without further ado, I am BrainPilot, and here is the character behind BoJack Horseman. When we watch the show, we find out that BoJack Horseman is an actor who in present day is washed up. He was big in the 90s due to his show Horsing Around. However, in modern day, he's a has-been. This is not only something that affects him mentally, but physically as well. His mental state is not ever really in the best way, and his physical state represents it as well. This is something that not only this fictional character is like. You see on the television many people today in BoJack Horseman's shoes. Many actors who were once extremely loved by fans and had worldwide fame slipped under the carpet through no choice of their own and would look at BoJack and see a reflection of themselves. Us as an audience can relate to that element of BoJack because, as I said, we've seen it before in reality. By all accounts, BoJack is not a nice person at all. Well, most of the time anyway. If you exclude Season 5 where BoJack is trying to redeem himself, then most of the time, to put it quite frank, he's arrogant, rude, sexist, a drug addict, an alcoholic, and the epitome of somebody that you ordinarily would want to steer clear from. Yet, we are welcoming this character into our homes and laughing, judging, and sympathising with this character, who in general would normally be casted away from general viewers of television. BoJack spends the first few seasons trying to recover from his failing career by going on endless adventures, having parties, and lots of sex. However, we do not once really see this character become the person that he wants to be. He fills in the gaps with all that he believes people will look at him and see success, such as money, fame, and women. Whereas in reality, he wants nothing more than to be in somebody else's shoes. Why is that? Well, for most of the 5 seasons of the show, BoJack Horseman is depressed. And we're taking a glimpse firsthand into what it looks like for somebody to be going through depression and other mental illnesses. When watching BoJack go through depression, we aren't afraid, and it isn't necessarily thrown in our faces that that is the main theme of the show. It's a comedy after all. We laugh. Yet it shows how ordinary on the outside it can be. Yet when we're alone with BoJack and we see all that he gets up to from his point of view, he's not content with anything that he has and all that he's achieved. He's constantly trying to chase what he once was and trying to steer as far away from some of the characters that he's played on screen, especially Filbert in Season 5. For example, we see BoJack take the drugs for his pain in the latest season, and we see him drifting in and out of reality, and it cutting between the show that he's starring in. Then we see the consequences that come along with it, battling with depression, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, and many other problems. The way that BoJack has been written allows us to see mental illness in a way that doesn't cause people to run away in fear, or have a perception of somebody that's been labelled as being depressed or mentally ill. You see the character for who he is and the troubles that he's going through. Television has changed a lot in the last decade. However, a survey taken in the UK in 2010 found that 45% of TV characters that are seen to be mentally ill have storylines that place them as a threatening character. This is where BoJack breaks the stereotype and rubs out that line and can make a character going through all of those troubles so likeable. By BoJack being on air, it allows people that are suffering with mental illness to be seen in a different light, and it shows people who aren't suffering with mental illness just what it's like, or at least give them an insight to what it can potentially be like for certain people. It also shows the viewer what it can be like to look at yourself when you position yourself as a character that's just passing by. Yes, BoJack is wealthy. He has a nice house, nice car, surrounded by friends, yet he's not happy. Many people would say that he has no reason to be depressed or to be a complete arsehole, yet BoJack's character goes deeper than that. Depending on what type of person you are, it will determine what you think of BoJack. But the character is positioned as somebody that we can laugh at, root for, think is an idiot, yet feel sorry for all at the same time. He goes on a turbulent journey, and that is why you can relate to him, because you're watching somebody that you love, like, or even know in real life go through something that is similar, albeit not necessarily to that scale, but it's something that's all too familiar. We see in Season 5 about BoJack's childhood and the relationship that he had with his mother. We saw his father talking to him about how he doesn't want to be with his mother and the fact that he thought his mum and BoJack were in the way and preventing him from moving forward. Obviously, this is something that would have a lasting mental effect on the character, and would in turn lead him to spiral out of control down the line due to not really having any affection in his childhood. Talking about the lack of affection, in Season 5 we see the episode Free Churro, where BoJack's dealing with his mother's death by being happy and almost saying good riddance. This episode has been widely talked about due to it taking on a completely different style compared to every animated episode of a show before. He stated that he got a free churro after finding out that his mother had died, and that he received more affection from that one woman in that moment than his whole childhood from his mother, another element of his past that would affect him in the long run. By taking a small glimpse into his childhood, you see reasons as to why he is the way that he is. Let's take a look at the voice actor behind BoJack Horseman, Will Arnett. Of course, BoJack Horseman is voiced by the character Will Arnett, and he delivers an outstanding performance of the character. His depth, tone, and comedic style definitely helps make the character what he is. Will has starred in Arrested Development, Lego Batman, Ice Age, Ratatouille, and several other shows and films. One character and show that I'm going to linger on is the character Chip in the Netflix original Flaked. He starred as a character who is all too similar to the character BoJack. Chip is a recovering alcoholic and is trying to stay sober and struggles to keep hold of his baggage, hoping that he doesn't go off the rails. As well, in his personal life, Will has previously opened up about his battle with alcoholism. There is a trend that runs through these two characters and his personal life, and I believe that through his own personal experiences, he's able to draw on them and bring out the best possible way for BoJack to be perceived. I'm not saying that BoJack is the depiction of Will Arnett's life, nor Flaked is either. However, I think that it definitely adds to the depth of the character and allows you to sympathize and grow a bond with him, because he feels more real. Conclusion. BoJack being on television and having the large viewership that it has is a good thing for many people. As mentioned, it gives people that are suffering with mental illness the chance to be heard through the show. The family of people suffering the opportunity to see what it's like in somebody's mind, and just general viewers to see what mental illness can be like and the effect that it has on somebody. It takes a sensitive subject, and by carefully addressing it in certain ways, you don't necessarily realize the true story behind BoJack Horseman until you take a deeper look. BoJack depicts mental illness on television in a different way, and it carries it off successfully. For as long as I can see, the show has a future, and I think it has a future in people's homes as well. People welcome it with open arms every year when it arrives, and I don't think that will change anytime soon. The show is not only emotional and touch on subjects that are extremely real, more real than the animated show itself, but it's also funny and it has people laughing out loud and repeating the jokes. You either love BoJack or you hate him. Simple. But whatever you feel, hopefully now you understand his story as to why he is the way he is. He's a deep character with a troubled past, and it's carrying through his adult life. And that is the character behind BoJack Horseman. If you want to support the channel in a different way other than just watching the videos, then I've recently set up a Patreon, and by donating, you can get yourself some exclusive content that's only available over there. The link will be in the description below. Take a look and see what you think. What do you think of the character BoJack Horseman? Do you enjoy the show? What's your favourite season? Did you enjoy this style of video, the character behind? If you want more, then let me know. Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.